Does the Bible support feminist ideology? Now, before you comment, listen to the entire video. So a lot of people are going to define feminism as this man-hating group of white women, but that's not really how the academic literature sees it. This content creator points out the fact that in the literature, feminism is seen as two things, that being anti-sexism, no matter where that's coming from, and deconstructing and dismantling patriarchal norms and structures. And by patriarchy, she means
a societal structure that exists as a result of the majority of positions of political, religious, and financial power being held by men.
So with that out of the way, we can ask the question, does the Bible support feminist ideology? And I think there is a degree to which we can say yes, even as a complementarian myself who believes that God has given purpose for each respective gender and that, for example, women can't be pastors. I understand why some would consider that point to be antithetical to feminism, but I think a more nuanced take is that as Christians we can say that there are things that God commands and wants us to do, but there are things that are socially constructed norms and ideas that we can in fact deconstruct without worrying about encroaching upon what God says. And in that sense, we could be a sort of Christian feminist. I also would say that depending upon how sexism is understood, the Bible would be against that, given certain biblical understandings. Deborah in the Old Testament could be a good example of feminist principles. But I want to give you guys an example of how I think Christian feminism could play out in real time. So this was a picture I took at Princeton Theological Seminary of the first Bible ever translated by a woman. Now think about that. In almost 2,000 years of church history, there have been very, very, very few attempts from women to translate the Bible. So I think doing that, given the principles of feminism that we talked about earlier, would be a feminist thing to do. And I think this should be celebrated. So I think in a more nuanced approach, we can have a sort of Christian feminism that we embrace that also recognizes what God wants from each gender. But again, that's me as a complementarian. Of course, egalitarians and then harder complementarians than myself are going to have different views. But feminism doesn't have to be antithetical to the Bible or Christian theology at large. So let me know what you guys think. Be respectful and follow for more.